Did you know that Hello Kitty is not a cat, but a little girl? Yeah, have a listen to what this executive from Sanrio, the makers of Hello Kitty, had to say last month.
Is Hello Kitty a cat? So Hello Kitty is not a cat. She's actually a little girl, born and raised in the suburbs of London.
She was born and raised in a London suburb. Which suburb? Catford? I just always assumed she was Japanese. So I decided to do a little research on the subject, and it turns out that she's a personification of a gijinka. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but a gijinka is a Japanese bobtail cat. And that's why I thought she was Japanese.
She has a mom and dad and a twin sister, Mimi, who's also her best friend. She enjoys baking cookies and making new friends.
Cinnamon roll, your cinnamon roll looks kind of like you.
She's kind of a tiny little girl, right?
Yeah, she weighs 3 apples and she's 5 apples tall.
And her world is large. She has her own pet cat, Charmy Kitty, a boyfriend, Dear Daniel, and hundreds of other friends.
But how can you tell people after 50 years that she's not a cat and she's a little girl? Her head is a cat's head. She's got whiskers and cat ears and little cat eyes. And she has a tail. But Sanrio claims she isn't a cat because she doesn't walk on all fours. But I'm sorry, that's not good enough. I mean, look at all of the animals in the entire cartoon world. None of them walk on all fours. So are we now supposed to believe that all of those cartoon animals are actually humans or furries? You know, people who get off on dressing up in furry animal costumes. What are they trying to do to children? Hello Kitty fans around the world are naturally up in arms about this, as they should be. I mean, imagine devoting 50 years of your life to Hello Kitty worship, only to be told it was all a lie. The cat that you have loved for 50 years is actually just a human who identifies as a cat. And in the wacky world of gender ideology, there is an actual name for people who identify as cats and other animals. They're called Therians, or Animalia gender, or Xenogender. Yeah, I'm not joking, it's a real thing. Well, it's a real thing in their heads that we're supposed to indulge. So what Sanrio is basically expecting the whole world to accept after 50 years is that Hello Kitty is not a cat and is actually a human and a member of the LGBTQ XYZ. Yeah, basically, she came out of the closet after 50 years as a furry. Sanrio says of her coming out that Hello Kitty's core message remains the same after 50 years, and that is friendship, kindness, and inclusivity. There you have it, inclusivity, the term that has changed the meaning of everything. It's a lesson in accepting the fact that this girl's identity as a cat overrides her biological reality as a girl. If you accept Hello Kitty as a cat and refuse to see her as anything but a cat, even though now you know she's actually a girl, then you understand gender identity. You're accepting that how somebody identifies overrides their biological reality. I see what they did there.